Okay. Welcome to What's Niggling Me. Today, we take on Africa. If you've watched any episodes, huge fan of athletics. And so many great athletes have come out of Africa. So, I've always been interested in it. I played soccer when I was younger with a guy from Africa. His family came over when I was, I don't know, maybe I was 13 or 14. We played travel soccer. All the best track athletes are descended from Africa, pretty much. The Jamaicans were the last stop on slave ships, so the genetics of those people, those were the toughest people, survived because they were fucking rowing oars underneath the fucking ship, chained to fucking shackles. And lots died on the way. It was a long fucking trip across the ocean. So those are some tough, durable genetics in Jamaica. I remember looking it up a long time ago. Why is Jamaica, this little tiny fucking country, produce these explosive sprinters? Need to know. Okay, so there's a possible revolution in Africa. And it worries me, because I know what happens when countries try to distance themselves from the people who colonize them. When I was growing up, and I'm pretty sure for the majority of people in North America, we get a minimum. We didn't even get any education on Africa. None. Absolutely none. On all of our maps, North America is bigger than Africa. And it's not. The United States is North America. The United States is not the size on the globe or the atlas or whatever the fuck you were looking at growing up. The ratios are not correct. It's not all dirt and sand. They have fucking skyscrapers. They have fucking roads. What Gaddafi did in Libya, they didn't put on the media. They can't put this stuff in the media and let us know that these countries are thriving, because we need to overthrow them because they need freedom and democracy. So I remember telling my mom this, we get no literature about Africa. Zero. Nobody knows anything. I bet you a high percentage think Africa's a country. That's our school system. Garbage. But I remember reading, maybe within the last year or something, 14 countries in Africa. I think there's around 60 countries in Africa. 14 of them, France kind of owns still. They gave these countries their independence, but the currency they set up, the economy they set up, was to fuck them. The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank are corrupt levers that the governments use. The United States and France. These are the main ones here that I'm focusing on. The United States and France, with NATO's involvement. Let's light this joint and get going. Okay. So I wrote a bunch of notes here because I've been studying the economy of Africa for very long. But it's disturbing. And if anybody wants to refute any point I make, I always turn the comments so there's no censor, there's no filter or whatever. Feel free to fucking bomb them with fucking, metaphorically, launch whatever criticism you have. I love a debate. So from what I'm understanding is countries that were previously under French rule before their independence have to give France 50% of the money they use. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? So 50% of their foreign exchange reserves have to be stored in France or the United States, but with the majority France. When it's in the United States, it's in like that New York Federal Reserve. It's mostly gold. I meant to look up how much that gold is worth. That Libya had when NATO killed Gaddafi. Not NATO technically. A militia with a lot of NATO help. I don't think they gave the kill shot. I think that was a sympathizer probably so that he didn't get tortured more. I actually can't even do the math on how much. Maybe I can just Google it. Gold to US. We'll go with the US currency. Jeez, what a difficult thing for me to try and figure out. See, who knows the date of this? Because I'm pretty sure gold is around $3,000 an ounce. So 1 ton I'm getting here is what? 100,000? Roughly? I don't even know if my calculator goes that much here. Was that 100,000? Oh no, that says 98 million? Jeez. I was wondering why that number didn't seem right. 98 mil. Now that number is huge. So apparently almost $100 million for 1 ton of gold right now. Gaddafi had 144 tons of gold. And you can see that in a leaked email from Hillary Clinton and I think Max Blumenthal is the guy's name. Hillary Clinton saw, holy shit, 144 tons of gold? Let's steal that shit. Now gold, see, I've been following because I know for over a year now, we're in a recession. Our media lies to us, keeps things from us. I don't listen to any of that. I'm going to the fucking numbers. I'm going to the numbers around the world. What's going on everywhere? Countries are accumulating gold. Gold is worth so much money right now. More than ever. The price of gold has skyrocketed since COVID. And I think it's double what it was since the financial crisis, in a way. So in fucking less than 2 decades, gold has doubled. Canada has 0 gold in its fucking reserves. 0. Because Canada is managed by financial idiots. We sold all our gold like over 20 years ago, in favor of things that are becoming worthless, like fucking bonds. Our country is an embarrassment. And what does every Canadian say? Oh, but we have free healthcare. Hey, so did Libya under Gaddafi. But our media never told you that this African country has free healthcare. They don't anymore. They have slaves now. Courtesy of NATO and Hillary Clinton. As you can, if you can't tell, I was a huge Gaddafi fan because I want this. The way this sounds now that I've learned ideologies, this sounds like communism, but it's not. I just want everyone to have an opportunity. When I was growing up, I was like, oh my God, like, how cool would it be to be a scout? To me, that was the coolest job you could ever have, was to be a scout. You got to go to all these war-torn countries. You got to go to all these places and try and find, no pun intended, a diamond in the rough, which, that's fucking cool. That's what Giannis was. My Facebook called Giannis MVP 2013. But I always thought it was so cool. I did Kime Mutombo, Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, it was... Africa was interesting to me. They had all these people there. It's clear they're genetically gifted. And I was like, fuck, these people need an opportunity. And fortunately, with that, some of the athletes that have like made it from there, because for the most part, from what I see, that people that I've met and that I've read, African people care about human life more than people in Western cultures. I think there's not just African. I think a lot of other countries have that as well. They cherish education. African people, they cherish education. They want to learn. Where we fucking hate going to school and stuff like that here, we've done such a horrible job in our culture, in just many ways. But the African culture, like, then I played FIFA games growing up. Not to be stereotypical, but a lot of fast players are from Africa. I wanted them on my team. I got to learn a bunch of Didier Drogba. That guy was real cool to me. Edgar Davids, he played for the Netherlands, but like, he's an African guy. Cool motherfucking guy. I saw, growing up, the majority of France's fucking national soccer team all the time was black. Not Thierry Henry black, African black. I love sports. So I love black people. I don't, like, I just... Every single person, even the most racist motherfucker, has to admit sports would fucking suck with no black people. Okay, back to my hope for an African revolution. And what I've learned. So yes, like BRICS, I've mentioned it before. Um, the rival to NATO, nah, the UN. I don't really know what BRICS is around to. The US mainly, but really Western cultures. The euro, the US dollar. And our media ignores it. I know the governments are aware of it. The media ignores it because there's danger. They're growing. And it's because of our policies of being instigators and being instigators constantly and keeping other countries down. Okay, so if these countries that are under France's rule still, because France holds half of their foreign reserves. If countries want to use this money for schools, roads, hospitals, it has to pay a 50% tax. How dumb is that? If the gold, if their foreign reserves in the French fucking Federal Reserve, if they want to use that money there, France makes them pay a 50% tax on it. They want to build a road or they want to build a hospital in Togo or Senegal, they have to pay France 50%. That's insane. Just to use their own money. Okay. Okay, yeah, so Gaddafi. There's some leaders, and right now it's led by Ibrahim Traore. He's trying to do something like Gaddafi did. Okay? This is the kind of shit that got Gaddafi killed. They didn't tell us this kind of shit was going on in Africa when we were growing up. They didn't tell us that Gaddafi, he wanted the currency backed on gold, and that China is loading up on gold. Russia loading up on gold. Saudi Arabia loading up on gold. Nobody trusts the fucking US dollar anymore. The US dollar's donezo. Done. Gaddafi wanted to create the dinar, the gold back African currency. Was going to be a game changer. And they wanted, what they did, this is like Hillary Clinton, like, Haiti had the earthquake, and the Clintons go in there, and what do you know? Hillary Clinton's brother gets the gold mining rights in Haiti. How much are the Clintons worth? After being career-long politicians, they've somehow amassed a net worth way more than any fucking political candidate can make in their life. So Gaddafi wanted Africa to have control of their own resources to sell, instead of Western countries owning like all the industries in Africa. So a U.S. company isn't going to own the oil reserves and the oil refineries in Africa. They're not going to own the diamond mines anymore. Africans are going to own the diamond mines, and you can come and buy them. gold. No more gold mines for French companies and US companies anymore. African companies get to own the gold mines. That was Gaddafi's plan. You wonder why Native went in there and killed him? Gaddafi had a number that I don't even know. 100 million times 144. Too tired and stowed. And my Apple calculator doesn't go that high. So, I don't know what happened to Libya's gold. I know that they have a slave trade. I know that Libya had healthcare and education subsidized by the government to make it almost free. State-funded water system. Gas for your car was cheaper than water per liter. Electricity, free for all citizens. Libyan banks offered Libyan banks, no interest on your loans, because I think that's a Muslim thing. I think you're not supposed to loan money for interest. It's a religious thing, I think. Different than another religion that I know of that does banking. Housing was a basic right, and he believed every citizen should have a home. Government financial assistance for newlyweds when you got married. You got financial assistance. And they had a self-funded, Libyan-funded, no IMF, no World Bank, Libyan-funded water irrigation system, and it was the biggest in the world. And NATO blew it up when they backed the militia to kill him. They blew up that water irrigation plant and left millions just with no water, because their lives are worthless to people like that, and they only care about fucking profit. They're disgusting people. I'm sure people have met people in their lives, and those people, there's not all people see everybody equally. You can go real deep on that, but just think. There are people that will walk past you and think less of you. There are elite people that think we are worthless. We are a cog in the wheel. So that is why I'm worried for Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. This guy is young, 30-something years old, 37, 39, something like that. And I'm seeing this guy is gonna try and do what Gaddafi did. A guy in the 80s for Burkina Faso, I can't pronounce his name, he tried to do this, asked for his gold back, and he was killed. He was assassinated. So I fear for this guy's life. Ibrahim Traore. I was just telling my brother about him yesterday, and my brother's like, you gotta do a video on him in case he gets killed. So I was like, let me learn more. Because I did hear, like maybe a year ago or something, about 14 countries still having control, or France still having control of 14 African countries. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I looked, and I was like, yeah, you can see the countries that France owns their central bank or something like that. Their central banks. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I tell my mom, look how wild this is. And then I started doing more digging recently, and I'm like, so these countries, majority, most people don't know. I don't know some of them.
because we don't get any education on Africa. We don't. The first education I ever got was the Blood Diamonds one, probably. I got a little bit of the lay of the land, because the internet was newer back then. Could have been like an 06 movie. Leonardo DiCaprio. It's an incredible movie. It's an incredible movie. I think, like, personal opinion. So, Benin, I probably can't pronounce all these that well. Benin. Benin? These are the countries, that are France has under their thumb. France is very old. They don't have the same morals and ethics we have here, and we don't even have morals and ethics at the elites. It's a facade. But they're more lenient, relaxed people, the French. They've gotten fucked up a lot of times. They've been to war. They got a long history. But they're very strategic. And they've really fucked a lot of countries that they colonized. Still to today. And they are led by Emmanuel Macron and whoever Brigitte Macron is. But Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea-Bissau, Mali, Niger, Senegal, Togo, Cameroon, Chad, Congo, Gabon. These countries are fucked by France. If they want to use any of their money that they have in the Federal Reserve that France made them store there, made them ship it there. No, the US made them ship some of that there. I don't know if France did, but France has these fucking Federal Reserves of gold. And in order to use any funding for roads and hospitals and shit, France has to approve it, take 50% cut, and sometimes they can say no. So if you're not a good leader in the country, they'll say no. You haven't been following our rules that we put in place. France rules over these African countries because of you control the money. They can just turn it right off. And what I fear is going to happen to these African countries that try to rise up is they're going to get sanctions. They're going to get smeared, obviously. Like, they're dictators. They do this, they do that. But I have spoken to a guy in Ghana, and he was excited when I brought him up. I had in my notes his name and Burkina Faso. And I was like, do you know this guy? And he stood back and he was excited. And he's like, yeah, the people love him. He's like, they had got a new president in Ghana. I don't know if he's called the president, could be prime minister, whatever. And for the inauguration, Ibrahim Traore went there. And the people, he said, you should have seen the people. He's only been in Canada from Ghana since last summer. Maybe fall. I forget when he came. Last fall, maybe. 43-year-old guy. He... low power mode. He was excited. And I had asked about Gaddafi when he came over here, because I needed to know about Gaddafi. I needed a person that's a lot fucking closer to Gaddafi than I ever was, and any people that are giving an opinion are. All of our news say he was a horrible person, and it just doesn't seem like so when he had infrastructure. When they made it sound like Africa is all sand. That's what they made it seem like when we were growing up, that it was all sand. And this motherfucker's got electricity and roads and shit going on in Libya. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so he told me before that the people weep for Gaddafi. The people of Libya weep for Gaddafi. That's what he told me last fall, because the country is a disaster, and the people loved him. But a NATO-backed coup had him assassinated, and took his gold. During the Arab Spring, it was fucking disgusting. I remember seeing it on TV. It was disgusting. Country after country fucking overthrowing their leaders. The United States was elated. Hillary Clinton, elated. So what French companies did was they made sure they owned the gold mines, and then they shipped the gold to France before they even weighed it. If someone opposes any point I make here, let me know. But China and Russia are back in these countries. It's going to be a problem, I'm telling you. Countries backed by gold. I don't know if I mentioned it on here. I think I did. And I told my mom pretty recently, who has a degree in English and psychology, but that's book stuff, right? Then it's not world like economics. It's not economics. She knows statistics, but when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, and money started getting printed, the dollar just keeps becoming more worthless. It's not backed on anything. Everyone's playing pretend. Wall Street, everyone's just playing pretend with pretend money. It's not backed by anything. It doesn't mean shit. We're all just playing pretend. We're all just agreeing that this is worth this. It's not. Gold-backed currencies. That's why Bitcoin is booming the way it is. Because you need to have a physical asset. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. This is not financial advice. I'm not advocating buying Bitcoin. But to me, in my opinion, it's either Bitcoin or gold. The dollar's garbage. Our Canadian dollar is a fucking joke. US dollar, because it's based on fucking US. Like, we're in trouble. If you have any fiat currency, trouble. If your currency's not backed by gold or Bitcoin or both, your currency's worth shit. That's the state that we live in right now. And if African countries want to get backed by gold, I know Gaddafi wanted Middle Eastern countries to get backed by gold as well. China, yeah, Saudi Arabia, countries are buying gold while Canada has none. Countries are buying gold. And this is not going to be easy for Africa. I thought, I don't know, this take could get skewed pretty bad, I guess. I know the Arab countries went to war with Israel, I think in 1967. I don't think I got nothing else written here.
I think in 1967. And they lost. they just weren't, in my opinion, retrospect, looking at it, hindsight, they just weren't as well equipped. The Arab countries are so scared of the US that they won't fight for Palestine. But what if BRICS and Russia, what if they get the Middle East? The US, all of our Western countries will fall in a second if they get the Middle East. They get Africa and the Middle East. If BRICS gets Africa and the Middle East, I think Saudi Arabia has like a pending offer. They got off the US dollar, petrodollar, year and a half ago, a while ago. Now there's other leaders. I believe maybe Mali and Niger have leaders that are feeling Ibrahim Traore. They're like vocal with like Ibrahim Traore, but I think he's leading Ibrahim Traore is leading the revolution, the African revolution, to have their own currency, not be dependent and forced to be dependent on any country but an African country. No more Western interference. I hate it. It's not a communist take when I say I just want everyone to have an equal opportunity. They don't even get a chance to have an equal opportunity because these countries keep them indebted so that they can own their resources. Fuck having fucking American companies in Africa mining their resources. Fuck that. Let these countries. There's so many intelligent. There's intelligent people over there. Who knows what. I love athletics, but there's also intelligent people over there. Look how many fucking Indian doctors there are. People always fucking call them terrorists. These fucking Indian people, the Indian people that come over here and they can't, their English isn't their first language. Fucking, they're already called in fucking terrorists for some fucking reason. I know why. Because of our media. Because of our TV. It's programming. Program people. And it's real easy to do. They program people with these fucking TVs and phones now. I'm a bunch of nationalities though, so I've always been interested. Always been interested. What's going on around the world? Russia. They had so many great athletes. My favorite hockey players were from there. When I was a kid. What was I supposed to do? Pavel Bure was my favorite. What am I supposed to do? The Russian Rocket was my favorite hockey player. Not a Canadian guy, not an American guy. I like Timo Solani. He was a Finn. I don't care what nationality people are. I love Dominik Hasek. He's dumb. Off the ice. He's an idiot for his latest comment I saw. But he was an awesome goalie. Czechoslovakia. I didn't care that he was from there. He was a great hockey player. It doesn't matter to me. People's nationality don't matter to me. People's race don't matter to me. But we're programmed to believe it matters in here. I don't know what it's like all around the world. But in North America, we're trained by programming because you're not born like that. Nobody's born to believe that the race matters. I just want to see the best. Doesn't matter what year. I'm watching fucking UFC. Dagestani and Kazakhstan fucking people are, that whole fucking Soviet bloc, the Baltics up there, they're dominant in the UFC. Awesome. I don't care. I hate them because they're fucking some nationality. If they're a fucking idiot, they can be from anywhere. They can be from Canada. If they're a fucking idiot, I'm not going to root for them. My brother doesn't like Ronda Marcos, I think was her name. Because she'd win, then lose, then win, then lose. No technique, just brawl. My brother didn't like it. Whatever. We live in a weird world. And maybe someone watches and learns that Africa's being run like this, part of Africa. What Africa has had and been capable of. I'm rooting for Ibrahim Traore. Fuck Emmanuel Macron. I don't like France. I'll tell you that. I don't like that French government. I don't like their laws. They have Roman Polanski there. Because I'm pretty sure in the United States he'd be going to jail. He likes kids. He likes them young. French has a weird culture like that. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, I don't like their laws, their policies like that. Free speech, I don't know what it's like there. It's not allowed, and I'm pretty sure, because the people that were saying Emmanuel Macron's wife is actually a man, and it's a transgender person, I'm pretty sure they went to jail. Got a defamation or something like that. England lets Piers Morgan do his thing. Have these debates and do his thing. But if you're a common person, you're not allowed to say the stuff that's on that show. I can't watch a lot of them because they're just yelling and bickering. Too many people on at a time. But sometimes it'll be like a one-on-one or something, or just a couple people, and it's interesting. Alright. Again, if you'd like to refute a point, refer me to something, agree, let me know. I'm gonna learn more. I'm on a mission. I'm gonna learn how this fucking world works. They didn't teach us it growing up. I'm gonna learn who's calling the shots. There's a lot of guesses out there of who calls them. And the Jews don't control it all. They do a lot. They're good at it. But not just them. Peter Thiel's dad was a Gestapo. So Peter Thiel Peter Thiel could be watching. Peter Thiel's companies. I don't like Peter Thiel because his inventions kill and our government and our surveillance. I don't like what Peter Thiel's inventions are. Elon Musk's inventions, they're not killing people. Yes, I'm sure some people died in some Teslas. I'm sure some people are going to die in his rockets eventually going to Mars. But he's not intentionally killing people. He's having tons of fucking kids. Not the way I think you should be having them. And I can't imagine he's much of a hands-on fucking father. And I seen him with the one. But Peter Thiel, it's not because he's gay. My brother's a gay. Peter Thiel, I don't know if he values life. I think he values control. I mentioned it before what he did to Gawker, I'm pretty sure. Peter Thiel is a scary man. He's sweating all the time. And he's calculated. He's way smarter than me. But his inventions are for infringement and death. I don't like Peter Thiel's inventions. PayPal was a good one.
But I see the defense contracts. I see he sells his technology to other countries.
That can be used for determining who's an enemy.